Okay, I'm starting this video without Jeremy for time's sake. He's going to pop in a second. But I just wanted to show you guys. I don't know what number it is. So, we're adopting 2 kids from Liberia, if you never watched our videos, and we are doing a daily vlog to help raise awareness for international adoption, orphans in crisis, specifically in the lowest economic countries in the world. And Liberia is number 187 out of 195, so you're in the bottom 10.
Where can I be?
Wherever you feel comfortable.
Hello.
So, a couple things happened today. First of all, we found out that our little friend that went to the ER is doing better. He's still in the hospital, but he's doing better. It looks like a malaria thing. So that's kind of what we thought. It's kind of a rare complication that he has, but he is doing better. But it looks like malaria, so that's good. So we're glad to know that he's doing better. Malaria is really common here, but usually these kids are pretty resilient. And our orphanage keeps a lot of, they take them to the doctor if they need to go. They keep them pretty healthy. They have medications on hand. We restocked that for them when we got here to make sure they had what they needed. So, but I just want to show you guys. So this little store has been on the side of the road for, I gotta find the guy on Facebook. I got his number. I didn't put it there. I didn't put it in my top pocket. It's my top pocket. So I've been looking at these things for 5 months since we got here, and I'm like, I need that. I'm like, that would make a great laundry basket solution for my kids, because here's the thing about their laundry baskets. They have a lot of clothes, and especially my younger 2 kids. So they do a lot of hand-me-downs, but we get them new stuff, and for special occasions or whatever they need. And then there's times that my 2 older kids, they have a lot of clothes that they can share. So it takes a long time when we're at home to run out of clothes. And we're always having like this beach towel issue because we have a pool. So we always, these are first world problems. My kids have too many clothes and we have beach towel. After living in the non-first world for a while, I'm still needing to organize. So I'm like, I really wish that laundry. And so everybody kind of has 2 laundry baskets. The kids do. And they're hampers that are like bag hampers that they've had since they were like, I think our youngest was 1. I think they were 1, 3, and 4 when I got them. Because Jeremy kind of criticized me because I ordered them off Etsy and they were monogrammed. But like, we've used those things. At the time, we probably didn't. But I've used them, but they have their names on them, and I really liked that. But anyways, they all have 2, like they don't all have 2 with their names on them, but they have like a secondary hamper. And I just want all their clothes. And then when their dirty clothes start to overflow, Jeremy's like, oh, we got to do laundry. I'm like, no, we don't. He's like, but it's overflowing. And it looks messy. And it's not that he cares about it. But he's like, oh, it's overflowing. We should wash it. And I'm like, no. Our capacity is more. So,
you found a way to criticize me.
No, I'm just saying he's like, oh, we need to do laundry. But we have different, as all marriages, I think every single married couple I've ever talked to has this issue to some degree where they don't agree on how to do laundry. And it's true. We hear it constantly. I hear it from other people constantly. And I talk to my friends and they're like, oh, I would do it Jeremy's way. Or I talk to them and they're like, oh, no, sense. I would not do it Jeremy's way. But most people will do it Jeremy's way, but I hate it. So I want to, if I start laundry, I want to finish it to completion. Or I don't want to get it out of the hamper. If there's an emergency laundry situation that comes up, but that's rare. Like when we have to wash soccer uniforms because we played on Wednesday and we're playing again on Saturday, I'm like, no. I'm in a 2-week cycle. I don't want but I will not leave stuff in the washer and dryer. This is not what I want to do. So my solution, are you just yawning while I'm talking on purpose?
Yes.
You guys, these. I should really have had one of the kids get in it. Okay. I'll just get it and show you. Maybe one of them had not that one. That one had a little sand in it. This is a medium. So the same material, it's made from a plant. They pick it out of the bush, they get the plant, so like the leaves, and then they melt it down to make it like, it feels like, what does it feel like, baby? So Noonday has these same bags in India, but they are a thinner weave. And they're good. I was pretty hard on ours, but they're good.
It's like a softer wicker.
It
doesn't feel like...
So, and they do the natural dyeing. So they put it to fire. The guy was telling me how to make it. I'm going to find him on Facebook so he can tell me more. But I was like, how long does it take you to make these? He's like, I can make it in 2 days. I can do it by tomorrow if you need me to. Like, he was like, if you want to buy it, I'll do anything. And that's the thing is, I've been watching this guy, and I've asked about him before. The first person I asked how much they were, they said $40. And I was like, ooh, $40. I need a bunch of them. So, and now that we know for sure that I'm coming back to Liberia, I'm like, I really need 5 laundry baskets and 1 for the pool. So beach towels by the pool, I don't like them to be scattered. If they're dry and clean, they go in the bucket. If they're not, they're hanging up. But they're one or the other. That's where they are. So, and I know some of you guys are going to look at these and be like, I want one. And I'm like, you can get them on the next trip. Unless you're Paige. If you're Paige, I'll give you one. Because Paige has done everything for me in Florida since I left.
True.
So, this.
I hear the sand.
There's just a little bit of sand. I mean, it was just on the side. But I've been looking at this every day. This one has a zipper. So the medium. All right, so Noonday sells this same bag, a couple different sizes, smaller for like grocery shopping or like beach bag for $48. And this one I bought for $20. He didn't, I mean, I was like, whoo, the small one's $20 and the big one was only $25. So these color, and I love these, and he really didn't have the color that I just really wanted, because he had a purple and blue and white one out for a while, and I really wanted that. But we literally drive by every single day, and I'm like, there's my laundry baskets. But I thought they were $40 a piece, so I'd settled in my head I was only going to get 1 for the pool, because we know we're coming back to Liberia, because Liberia is such fun. So, but you can also tell, so I don't know, anyone that sews, if you sew, I'll show you how you can tell that it's hand sewn. This is hand sewn, because this is not, you can tell it's straight, but there's a couple little hitches that you can tell that this was hand sewn, not with a sewing machine. And nothing there's anything wrong with the sewing machine, but when you sew with your hand, there's a certain tensile, like a tightening that happens that doesn't necessarily happen as much with the sewing machine. And the quality of stitch, is not a machine. But the time it takes to make these, I think this one's probably a really good color scheme. And this one has a zipper. The $20 one has a zipper. The $25 one, I'll show you guys these colors too. This one and this one. And this is so Florida. Just the stripes and but there's a latch on the top. So anyways, Edward is the guy's name. He wrote down his name for me. I'm going to find him on the book, so that way you guys can find him. But he had the best prices, because I'd asked a few times. So I had it in my head that if they were $40, I was going to try to negotiate and get like 3 for $100. But then I was like, I don't really know. And then when I actually got to look at them, I mean, they're huge. Like, they're just so big, but so sturdy. And I know that this is durable material, because the Noonday bags are a little looser weave. But this is like hand woven with some type of plant material. And then he said they put it to the fire, and then they dye it. And they dye so they make it into like a thread, basically. Then they put it together. But he said he could make these in 2 days, and he could custom make whatever colors I wanted. And I'm like, Edward, I've been looking at your bags for 5 months, and I'm so glad that today is the day. And that I didn't say this, but I'm like, you're half off. Like, everyone else has said so much more. But you see people walking with these, like, down the road. So, anyways, the other problem is, I know what you're going to say, is like, how am I going to take these home? So, I'm just going to pan over here. So, there's 2 of them in that suitcase. Now, I'm the packer in the family. I am hello, I forgot you were there. I'm the I'm the one that keeps up, like, our calendar, our packing, our travel, all that is just, that's all I do it, because it's just not Jeremy's strength on packing. He's great at it. If you just give him a list to do, he can complete the list, but it's hard for him to know what should be on the list. And if he creates the list and does it all himself, he's not really sure. He knows it's in there somewhere, but he doesn't know exactly where it is. And now that our kids are older, life is easier. But when we have little kids and we're like out on the boat or like at the beach or somewhere that's challenging variable wise, and I'm like, hey, where did you put the XYZ? You name it, life jacket, snacks, specific where did you put our oldest daughter's goldfish? And he's like, I don't know. You know, when you have a 4-year-old that has to have goldfish, and especially when she's like a nervous kid, like she's nervous, so if you give her goldfish, she'll probably be okay. It's not like, I don't know where it is. So these are the packing issues. So this whole disaster that's in our house right now, Jeremy's just looking at. But he knows that, like, it's not, I'm not going to do it. Like, I'll be mad if he tries to do it. We're surrounded by so many things right now that's just cluttered. Would you say the walls are closing in?
The walls are closing in.
But I love to pack. Oh, I love to pack. I love to move.
We have crap everywhere.
It's great.
Like, what?
I've been packing in my head for a few days.
I
call it light packing.
When everything's by the door and we're ready
Call
to
it light packing.
Get up and go.
So today I got refundable plane tickets home because you never know what could happen. Of course, then we got extra news this afternoon that was more discouraging than we've heard all week, all season, all quarter. And I was like, great.
So picture this. The news goes like this. MOG can't lift the suspension of Small World because they need to wait until the police report is completed.
We don't know what they're looking at. They say, like...
The police report cannot be completed because the police don't have the money to complete the investigation.
We don't know what they still need to investigate.
You can't make this crap up.
But they say it like it's normal. Like, oh, it would almost be like if I called you, if you're building a house. Like you're building a house in Florida. And it's going well. And then a hurricane comes through. And I call you and I say, hey, your house had some hurricane damage. It's going to put us behind about 2 weeks, but we can get ahead of it. I would be like, oh, okay. That was a natural disaster. So I'm okay with it. Or if you even, just something simple like, oh, I'm going to be at your house at 6 o'clock. Oh, I'm going to be there at 6:30 because there's a wreck on the way, or because I left a child at home and had to turn around. These are plausible excuses, you know? The dog got out and we had to go find it. So I'm 30 minutes late. This is the way that this deputy minister, government official at the Ministry of Gender describes this to us.
Like crickets going on.
Like, oh,
so you're telling me
it's just like it's normal. Like we should just like this is almost like this is good news.
I have good news for you. There's more waiting. It's almost like, you imagine we're being suspended. It's been suspended for 6 months. You're automatically guilty and suspended instead of like being found
innocent
guilty.
until proven guilty is what their constitution says.
It's not being followed. So anyway, how could you imagine if like we're in the state of Florida, imagine you had a family member gets murdered or something crazy. Something crazy happens. The detective comes to your house and is like, well, we can't investigate this until we get some funds to do it. You'd be like, what? You what? Come again?
And that's the issue, you know, that's the issue here is like, that's so Liberia, like that's just, it's an accepted thing. And I'm like, okay, so first of all, it's an illegal suspension. The investigation is completely bogus and we all know it. Did you get it?
No, I missed it.
Oh, sorry.
Duh.
But there's no law that says that the suspension has to continue. You can investigate anybody you want to. For anything you want to, but you do not have to suspend their business. In fact, I think if they think that our orphanage director is doing so many nefarious things, he's recruiting, trafficking, baby buying, whatever you want to say he's doing, he's not doing them. I mean, I've been hanging out with this guy for 5 months. He didn't do anything bad. He's barely got time to do all the good things he has to do. So, and he does those very well. And I mean, he, like, even just this week, like he just casually talking to me about like his car window. He has a Pathfinder, Nissan Pathfinder, and the car window just rolled down and won't roll back up. And then it's like the motor thing. It's the same thing Nelson's got going on with his Armada. And it's like we're pouring down rain and his window won't roll up. So he's trying to drive around, trying to take a kid to the doctor, trying to get all this stuff. Told me about, you know, his brother broke his leg a few days ago. So he took him to the hospital. He had to have surgery.
I didn't hear that one.
Yeah, he had a broken leg. He had to have his tibia broke. It was a car accident, a motorcycle wreck or something. It was a moving vehicle accident. And he had to have surgery. He's doing okay. But he had to take him to the hospital. You know, he's just... And there's other things, I'm sure, that I don't know about that he's had to do. But it's just, he's just casual about it. He's like, yeah, I took my brother. He showed me the x-ray He was looking for something else in his phone, a picture of the medication. I think it was a medication question. And it was just this whole thing, and I'm like, dude, you're just so casual chill about this. This is not... But if you really think he's doing something bad and you're having a hard time catching him in the act, why don't you just let him go back to work and see what he does? Now that would be an investigation. Let him work and really see what's happening here. How dare you? Liberia.
The same nefarious evil genius.
And this
spent
is
2 days in the ER because of one of his kids is sick.
And
like,
there's two.
This guy's got a heart of gold. I mean, this is stupid.
Oh yeah.
Anyway.
Like, and he's not just like there because he's like holding the hand. He's like cleaning up the vomit. I mean, he's a hands-on dad, and these kids, like, he is the father figure in their life. I mean, there's like he's the one that's there when things go wrong. He's the one that's there when things go right. He was pretty heartbroken because there's several of the kids that are graduating from the middle school. And they wanted to have a graduation ceremony, give a speech and all of that. But this school, all of a sudden, like last year they charged a small fee. This year they're charging $50 American dollars a kid.
They have 4 of them.
For the 4 kids to graduate. And I'm like...
It's $200. And he was going to go speak, I think he said, right? Did they ask
No,
him?
the kids were going to speak.
The kids were going to speak. Okay.
Kids get to give a speech. And he just is like, we don't have it. He went and talked to the school. I mean, like, on his whatever day. Who knows what day he did this, I guess, before he drove his brother to the hospital, before he... All these things. And he's like, we just don't have it. I mean, we don't have that right now. And I'm like, you know, there's a part of me that's like, maybe I should just give it to him. But then I'm like, I don't know that we have it either. Like, that's, you know, like, what's the hospital? We're worried, you know, we're kind of wondering about the hospital bill. Like, I'm sure somebody will. But they don't. The thing about the hospital is, like, so you go to the hospital and they check you in and they stabilize you. But they won't give you any medicines until you pay for them. They won't do any lab tests on you until you pay for them. So the doctor will come to see you and decide what you need. And then you'll decide whether or not you want it. And then you go to the window to pay. And then once you have a paid stamp, you take it to the lab. And then if they want your urine or whatever, which that was fun, trying to get a kid to pee in a cup. So, you have to deliver your own urine. Like, I mean, the lab will come, but like they'll get the blood. You don't have to draw your own blood or anything. But like it's very like you pay as you go, and you know there's some sick people there, so it is what it is. But we got some good answers, and I thought it was the right decision. But they don't these kids don't go to the ER very much. They don't go to the hospital very much. They go for medical checks probably once a year, but they're well cared for and they don't get sick. I mean, malaria happens here. You can't really avoid it. They all have mosquito nets around their bed. They have all the precautions. They have medication to help, but you know. Anyway.
But it
certainly two different deputy ministers have like confirmed this with us, and we're like,
certainly helps solidify our decision. Now they could have told us 2 months ago. I mean, that would have been great.
Yeah, well, if they knew, I mean, if they're like, oh, we're not gonna, like, they've been telling us for the last month since May that they have a status report, the police report's done, there's nothing, they're just going to lift the suspension. They've been promising this, you know, water cooler type conversations, different texts and emails have come across. But when it comes down to it, they're not.
I mean, I feel like the stupid one that believe them, but I guess when we file a lawsuit, they'll believe us, I guess.
Well, that's what our response was to this fun news is like, the Ministry of Gender should expect legal action by adoptive families in the U.S. that are matched.
Every single one of them.
Yeah. I can only speak for us. I can speak for myself, and we will take every legal action that we can. And it may never matter, but it'll matter to me. Even if just saying that one sentence today made somebody just think, whoa, you know. Because you can be evil, and you can be wrong, and you can be lazy, and you can be all of those things for a long time. And maybe nobody does anything about it because nobody cares. It's not really hurting anyone enough. It's not really causing that big of an issue. Seems under the radar. That's why you get away with it. It seems, you know, petty crimes or whatever. But now you've messed with our kids. And not just our Liberian kids, our American kids. And not just our American kids, but our friends' American kids, our friends' Liberian kids. And you will not find fiercer and more determined people than adoptive families. You just won't. We're weird. I don't think everybody should adopt. I don't think everybody's cut out for it. I don't think it's easy. I think it's super hard. I think it takes probably 300 people per adoptive family to just get you to the finish line, domestic or international, especially international. And we were having the talk yesterday with the guy at Both Hands. One comment came up and he's like, do you feel you fundraised a lot? You've been in this a lot. You're living in Liberia. You're my heroes. We think you're great. Do you think that this is the right time to do a Both Hands fundraiser? Or do you think everybody's tapped out? What are your thoughts? Because clearly you've gotten a lot of support over the last 2 years. And we have. We're over $100,000 into this adoption. So, and some of that's ours, but not most of it. Most of it's not. And, we were on the call. My friend Allison was on the call too. And she just basically was like, well, that's where I come in because Rachel and Jeremy are from Tennessee. They don't live in Tennessee anymore. And I think that I can, because of our mutual contacts, the overlap in our life. She teaches at the school I grew up at. She goes to church at the church we went to when we lived in that area. And we have connections there that are kind of mutual and not mutual. And so that's where she was like, I think that's where I come in. It's a fresh market, but not a fresh idea. And I really appreciated that. But, a part of me was like, doesn't matter if we're tapped out or not. Like, what else can we do? What else can we do? We can go back to work and we will do that. But we haven't been able to work in like almost half a year. I was glad to hear from my scheduler. She was like, yep, I'll get you on set. She's so sweet. She was like, I have already done July and August. Feel free to reach out to anyone if they want to give you shifts or whatever you want to do is fine with me. Whatever they want to do is fine with me, which is what I figured. And she said, I will make sure to include you in the schedule in September because I went PRN, so they don't owe me anything. They don't have to give me anything. And she was like, I'll make sure, but I'll reach out to you before I work on it in case your plans change for the better. And I thought that was really sweet and encouraging.
It is.
But it's not going to change because you know what the police takes to do their job? They take outside bribes. When they say they don't have money, you know what they're saying? You need to bribe them. So when deputy ministers within the government are sharing the news that the police don't have any money, so they're not going to work, it's basically like they're saying, if you want to go pay the police yourself, they will do the job you want them to do. And then I want to say, all right, Liberia, you want to know the reason that you're staying 187th? Maybe you got here because of the war and because of all those things, but you are not. Those government officials are not speaking for the people here. The people in Liberia are some of the most resilient, determined, intelligent, fierce people that you will meet because they've survived everything. And this government is not, they're not going to put up with it. They're just not. And it may not happen in the time frame that I want it to. It may not happen in the time frame that we get to bring our daughters home this week. But it will not take long for the good people in Liberia, the smart leaders, the war orphan survivors, the adult population there's a lot of people here that want the right thing. It will not take that long for them to say, you know what, no more. We're not paying bribes. We're not doing corruption. We're not doing any of this. We're done. And good people will take control of this country and it will rise to well above 187th. But the people that remain in control right now, the war criminals that have not been punished in this country, the trafficker that was convicted and not sentenced in this country, the people that go and kidnap children from villages and make them sell bread on the street, claiming to their parents that they're going to send them to school. These people don't just have to answer to God in heaven about this when they die. They have to answer to people like Godfrey. They have to answer to Nelson. They have to answer to the people that survived this, that are these people between the ages of 30 and 55 that lived through the war, that will not go back, but won't put up with this either.
I want to kind of put this in perspective too. So the average senator makes $10,000, $15,000 a month.
Here.
If you have a decent wage
Cash,
at a
US
decent
cash.
job, say a nurse, you might probably make $150 a month in Liberia. So I did a quick calculation. That's a senator makes 83 times a nurse here a month. 83 times.
And they get an extra budget to help the community that they represent. But there's no accountability for what they do with it.
I don't know how much, like, say, the head minister proper of the MOG makes, but I imagine it's probably pretty good. So,
and it's appointed,
and they don't want to really rock the boat, and that's a shame because these people are appointed. They're not elected. They can get in and take care of business, and they're not doing that. So it's really 83 times a nurse's salary.
and that's the thing that the Liberian people are not going to tolerate. You can't have that kind of gap. And that is the reason that superpowers fall. And that is the reason that revolutions begin and rebellions begin. And that is the reason that countries don't stay at peace, is that gap that between the have and the have-nots. And I'm just gonna, I mean, we're watching this unfold, but to the people of Liberia, like, you can do better. And you will. They will do better.
Yeah.
But the war criminals are going to have to come to the table and take their punishment. For starters, the trafficking lady, I hope I don't run. You know what else? The lady that was accused of trafficking and convicted of it. Do you know that she ran for senator? She lost, but she ran for government office. She has not gone to jail. She's not, and you just wonder, like, so you think if the Ministry of Gender or the Ministry of Justice or the governments or whatever, if the U.S., whoever, I mean, honestly, it's like we've been mad at the U.S. Embassy for being mad at Liberia. And we are mad at the U.S. Embassy for the way that they've treated one-on-one families in adoption. They've been inappropriate. But that's a separate issue. In general, I understand why the U.S. government has some frustrations with the current government in Liberia. Because they're just, you don't convict somebody of trafficking, specifically 2 children, and then basically having over 500 adoptions of Liberian kids from 1990s to 2009 that were not their adoption regulations were not closely followed at all for those adoptions. Some of them, really, their parents are angry and want their kids back. And they're rightly so. Some of them probably were legit adoptions, but the paperwork was not processed correctly or done correctly. So, all that being said, you can't just let those people go and then let them run for office and then just like it's nothing.
Is she like a hero here or something like that?
No, nobody likes her. She ran. I'm sure she got some votes, but she ran for office.
Oh.
And, I mean, I'm sure she's not all bad. Nobody's all bad. Nobody.
Maybe.
I mean, Satan himself started out pretty good. Nobody's all bad. But it's just, I don't know. I mean, these people will just think they can keep on. And eventually, I just hope that the Liberian middle class just gets it within themselves to say, we're not going to go to war over this, but we're not going to put up with it either. Because, evil prevails when good men do nothing. And I understand maybe for the last 10 or 15 years that Liberia's good men and women have just been focused on keeping everybody alive. I get that. I hear that. But not now. It's time to fight back, and we'll help you in any way we can. And any legal standing that we have, that we can find, and we're searching for legal standing because we want legal standing, because the legal standing in a courtroom is what prevents just all-out fights. So if we have any kind of legal standing for our children in Liberia, we want to pursue it. If we don't, then we don't. But we're looking into it. We've talked to legal counsel about it. We're going to do everything we can to put as much truth into this situation that we can. I'm excited to go home. I'm excited to get back to work. I'm excited to find more creative ways to save these kids and give them a chance to be the leaders that God made them to be. Truly.
Yes, and tomorrow will be our last visit with them, so that'll be hard before we leave.
Yeah, today they did good. So today was the day I talked to a lot of the other matched kids that have seen pictures and videos of home. And it was hard because some of them have, most of them, only 3 of them I can send videos back. 4 of them. But I can show the kids videos of their future families, pictures, stories, where they live, all that kind of thing. But I can't show the parents pictures of the kids because I can't legally photograph a kid that I'm not matched with. Which makes sense. Because then you're kind of getting into, it's illegal. So that, but I can take pictures of their artwork, and I can tell their parents, like, this is their favorite color, this is their favorite food, this is their hopes and dreams. But today was more about, we took our kids and visited them. We gave our Liberian daughters all their stuff. Like all their new shoes, their new jackets, their new clothes. They have 2 bathing suits they probably won't know what to do with. Because I'm pretty sure they're going to keep growing. I mean, if I come back in 3 to 6 months to get them, they're going to have different clothing needs. And I'm not taking that stuff home because it's theirs. So I wanted them to enjoy it. We gave them some toys. We wrote them letters and books. And we sat with them first. And all the kids watched them open their stuff. And then they went and put their stuff in like the nanny's bedroom area where they, it's under lock and key. So it's safe. And like one of them was playing with this ball. It's a squeaky ball, but it lights up. So it's probably driving everybody crazy. But it is fun to play with. I gave them both 3 of those. It was a fun day for them. But it was the day that I had decided to sit down with each of the matched kids, especially the older ones that I've really developed a relationship with, that I know their parents, and talk to them about the fact that I'm leaving. Everybody's dream was that Famana and Bese's parents would not leave. Those are our Liberian daughters' names. That we would not leave. But if we did leave, we would be taking our kids with us. And when Famana and Bese got to leave, that means everything's opening up for everybody else. So by us leaving without them, we changed that timeline for all those kids' minds. And everything about it's hard. Because they expected to see them leave, and then they get to leave, and then the other one gets to leave. So for the dam to not be broken the way that they thought we could break it is hard for those older kids. Because it was hard because as I was talking to them, I mean, 2 of them just really grieved it. Like it really hit them hard. And they're going to miss us. They're going to miss just the connection to home. Like they really are excited about their new room and bunk beds, and I showed them pictures of their bunk beds, and it's like they're going to be like all these kids sharing the same room with they're all close in age, and it's like you would think they maybe would want more space. Our kids are the same way. They all want to share. They love the bunk room. And just showing them pictures, that's the most exciting thing. I've shown them pictures of the pool, everything that their family does, kind of daily BBS, church, in the kitchen, like just the rhythm of their life. Their mom has sent pictures and I've explained it to them. But the thing they're most excited about is just their bunk bedroom. And they have bunk beds at the orphanage. There's just something about that. But just experiencing that grief with them was hard.
So hard.
So I'm sure tomorrow's going to be really hard for our kids. We're taking them to a fancy restaurant and let them, do some things. Do some fun things and just be out and about. We're going to give them some car ride medicine. One of them for sure. Make sure we have trash bags in the car because they threw up last time. Make sure we have some baby wipes in the car.
Well, just so you guys know, like any parent out there that was, if we hugged every kid that was sad a lot. Mm-hmm. They were just on.
Yeah.
It was like constant reassurance and comforting, and it was hard on us too. It took its toll, but
yeah. We did. We spent a lot of time focused on other kids. And I think our Liberian daughters understood that too. One of the older girls was crying. Jeremy has sometimes these little like fruity candy things that I brought from home. He'll bring a few and sometimes give them to our Liberian daughters. And then we'll watch them it's like a peppermint sized candy. And they'll suck on their candy. And then they'll share it with their friend. They'll give it back. And we're like,
gross.
You watch these kids like, they're just, I don't know. There's a lot going on. Herd immunity is working there. They're very healthy. But they just share everything. That's how they are. But she had not even unwrapped hers. And she gave it to her friend that was just grieving. Like I'm just sitting on the ground with her. We're just crying together. It's just...
Big alligator tears. It was awful.
It's like if you have... I'm like, I will do everything I can to fix this. I'm going to come back. But it doesn't, she knows we're coming back. But
you
it's like,
her that, right?
Yes. But it's like this lifeline of hope that we're cutting by leaving. But when we get information like, oh, well, they're not going to lift the suspension because the police still haven't finished their report and they're going to investigate more. But the police actually aren't going to work on it because they don't have any money. Hint, hint. And it's like when you hear all of that, and then you look at, and you're like, it's comical. Like, it's like, this is like, did you make this up? So it gives us confidence that there's nothing more that we can do here in Liberia. But like one of the little boys, he was watching a video, and his parents did a very good job at being, and all the parents did a great job, but they did a good job at being upbeat and happy, explaining that they're not gonna, he's not going to see videos of them anymore or whatever, but that they're going to still take videos for him to show him one day, and they're going to come see him soon. They were very positive and upbeat. And although he was sad, he's a lot younger, but it was like, I could tell it was hard for them to be positive and upbeat, because it's not a positive and upbeat day, but it's also like, he just took it in and he accepted it, and he wanted to watch the video 3 times. And then after the 3rd time, I was like, "Are we good?" He's like, "I'm good." But I forgot to bring markers and sheets of paper today, so they didn't get to draw anything. And I think if I'd remembered the paper and the markers, they would have done better. They would have had some type of outlet to express themselves, but it's just loss. It's lost for all of them. There's twin girls there that hover around me now constantly every time I'm there, hoping for a video, and their mom's videos are so fun because she's always surrounded by other little kids, and she's always, it's just, I'm gonna have to call her myself just so that I get the boost of we're gonna be okay from her. So this has been nice. But yeah, we're excited about the families we bonded with. We know that we're a part of a group of people that is gonna move the mountains for these kids, and so we don't feel alone. So I don't look forward to packing, but I know I can do it. My youngest American daughter today, she's 8. She's quite cluttery. But I suggested to her, and like my middle child and my youngest totally like jumped in on this, and they were like at it. And my oldest child pretended like she didn't hear me or see me. And she got away with it. She can't pack. But my youngest one packed all of her. I was like, I really want you to keep it down to just your backpack. Like what you can physically carry yourself. And like if you want to give away some stuff, throw away some stuff. They have made paper dragons that are like trash. And she packed everything. So then tonight she's like, I don't want to unpack because I don't want to dig to the bottom of my bag for my clothes. And I'm like, we still have like 5 more days. So they're glad to go home. They're sad about missing their sisters, but they're glad to go home.
I mean, in a way I am too, but we're leaving quite a bit.
Well, there are other things that we have to work on in the States before we can fix this.
We gotta go continue adulting at home.
Well, yeah. We'll be in Tennessee for a few days if anybody wants to hang out. I love my bags so much. These are like, I mean, I can almost fit myself in here. And they do fold up. So.
I'm just gonna say, there's an assistant at the MOG. He sends me Bible verses, and
I think you're gonna have to block him.
It makes me want to scream.
He's not gonna be helpful.
Yeah. We're going to be breaking up on WhatsApp.
He also doesn't support adoption, you can tell in the tone.
Yeah.
He thinks that we're not giving the single moms a chance.
Oh, man.
His words, not mine.
Yes.
Is it that late?
Yeah, it's late. It's time to watch TV and relax.
All right. Anything else, baby?
That's all I got. Love you.
Love you.